I think as humans, we're predispositioned to be pretty negative about things, and there's probably a good reason for that. Let's be honest, there's a lot going on out there that is not good, and at the end of the day, everybody has a limited lifespan. Even if you're Jeff Bezos, living large, everything in the world, everybody gets sick and everybody dies at the end of the day. So you can always make a pretty good case. There's a lot of things not to look forward to, and yeah, that's a tough one to dispute. But when we look at the concept of maybe being a doomer, as we would call it, being somebody that is looking down in a negative light on a lot of the issues in the world at almost all times, it's an easy route to take, and I get it, and sometimes, we're probably all dooming a little bit, but it doesn't seem like the right route, because the right route is to actually try to do what's best for your life, try to improve, try to really look at the light at the end of the tunnel, and hold out a little bit of hope that you can end up in a better spot tomorrow than you were in today. And I think if you're doing that, you're doing the right thing in general, and you're doing all you can do, which is what matters, and you're not giving up. And I think where we're at as a younger generation out in the western half of the world, especially in the States, there's just a lot of that sentiment, negative sentiment you see again, but it just it's not right. There's something that it's not right to take the doomer path and just give up on life, because you'll never really be able to get happy, whereas I think you get a chance to at least be happy. You get a chance to be not just happy, because happy can be deceiving in a way to where sometimes you can be happy and things actually aren't really going necessarily well, but you can be satisfied contributing to society in a way. I mean, if you go full doomer, and I don't think most people are going full doomer, it's more of just a kind of condition, just a kind of coping mechanism. I get it. Again, like I said, the sentiment, hard to disagree with sometimes. I think it's just, if you start going down that path, maybe eventually you get to the darkest part of it, which is just basically being neat and you're not contributing, you're not in education or any type of training or working, and at that point you're just not contributing to society. And I get the society may not care as much about you as maybe it should, but at the end of the day, what else kind of do you really have? And I think, again, if you go neat, if you go something like that, you completely doom. When is that going to end positively? When are things going to work out in your way? Nobody's going to walk in with a golden basket and give you all the keys to life that's going to flip things around. It won't happen. But if you're taking action, there's no guarantee that great things will happen. We know people that work hard. They've got tragic lives, bad things going on. There's probably more of that than not. But I think if you're working hard, you're looking at where you need to hit goals in your life, you're setting goals, you're trying to accomplish things, no matter how much of a brick wall you got to break through, as long as you're really trying that, I think you can always hang your hat on that and knowing you put your best foot forward, and that's the better way to go. But again, easy to get wrapped up with, and this is where I think our generation's kind of being eaten from within, is getting into the doomer mindset and always looking at things in the most negative light. And like I said, it is very easy to do it, but sometimes I do believe we get a little bit too caught in the moment, a little bit prisoner of the moment, flavor of the month, if you will say, and people say, oh, it's the worst that it's ever been. We are in bad times. Things are terrible as far as the economy, the housing situation, how difficult it feels to do the same things that your parents did as far as the milestones in life. But you do want to take a step back for a moment and realize there's been a lot more challenges in the past for human beings, and there's been worse conditions to be in. And one of the ways maybe you can even look at it with the boomer generation, not saying that, again, they didn't have some of the milestones like more affordable housing and stuff like that, maybe better career path potential, stuff like that. You get it. Also enhanced social life without the internet destroying some of that fabric. But you've got to, again, conceptualize it, and here's a good way to think about it maybe is, yeah, you can be a boomer and you might have, a nice wife or something, and you've got a decent career and you can afford a house, but it's like, what good is that if you get shipped off to Vietnam because you were drafted to go fight in a war that a lot of people really didn't want to participate in, and we ended up kind of regretting down the line. But that was something that really happened to a lot of people, and you go back and further in history, it's like, what good is being able to build a house, but you live till you're 35 years old? I mean, there's all types of tragic stuff that's happened in the past. People had it much worse, and sometimes, I'm not saying, again, relative, it's not an issue, but sometimes we're a prisoner of the moment. Sometimes we're a little bit flavor of the month in believing that everything is the worst now, everything happening now has never been seen before, and you just want to be careful a little bit with that, because if you go too far down that path and you're really convinced yourself yourself that everything is worse than it's ever been, I believe that's when you kind of go into a potential doomer path that's too far to overcome, and you end up leading a miserable life. So guys, those are some of my thoughts on the doomer situation, and I believe it's just, again, I can't disagree. I mean, there's some really good arguments within kind of the doomer mindset. Looking at the way things are, it's 100% hard to disagree with some of this stuff, but at the end of the day, it's probably more challenging to take the other path and face the challenges head on and just try to do your best, because that's probably the right way, the more difficult path, and that's what I believe. Let me know though in the comments below, what do you believe? How do you think we can really overcome these challenges as we move forward? Or are you in the doomer mindset a little bit? Or are you thinking that things will just kind of crumble and tumble? Or what's going to happen? Let us know in the comments below. Also check out the other social medias I've got on screen and the other YouTube channels, guys. I'm a sports broadcaster, and I also have a weight loss channel. So those are my main things I'm really trying to build up all at the same time. So go over there and check those out if you're interested in that at all. Thank you so much for watching, and appreciate you listening in as well. We'll have more videos coming out soon. Be sure to stay tuned.